classes and work with you to secure a job. After that, we create shared understanding about what is the next step. Next slide, please. Now, for the intake, what you are required is to provide us the accurate information, and then you will share with us your employment goals, and also for financial need and what is your current income or benefit. When I say current income, we have some clients, they have a part-time job and they are looking for a full-time job, or they are working full-time job with no benefits and they are looking for more secure job with benefits. And for benefits also, if they are receiving any kind of benefit from Department of Human Assistance as call works or refugee cash assistant. Also, we will expect to for clients to provide us personal information such as their name, their address, email address, and a number, all of those kind of personal information. Also, during intake, clients will provide us their immigration documents. For police or refugee, we are looking for picture of the stamp on their passport or most recent I-94. Or if they are asylum granted, we're also looking for that asylum granted document. Then they will sign an agreement between provider and the client and the release information form. After we complete all this application or those intake forms, we will ask each client to get an ESL test just to see where are you at from which components that fit for your English level. Next slide, please. Then we have enormous benefit with the participating in program, an employment program. On the other hand, failure of participation or being active in a program that will lead staff to terminate clients or dismiss you from this program, from employment program. And we have some scenarios for that. Maybe you refuse signing document or refuse employment referral when we are referral you to any employer such as Amazon, Volt, Apple. So we keep refusing such as those kind of job with no reason that will lead to dismiss you from the program. Or refuse a job offer from employment without any reason, refuse to report after work. We have some clients, after they secure a job, they disappear. That also could lead to dismissal from the program, or voluntarily quit or discharge from the job with no reason, or not to report to the job developer or case manager every 2 weeks. Where are you at? Are you still working in the same job? Do you get promoted? Did you leave the job? So we need to follow up every 2 weeks. Or failure to complete job search and job application and not being active in the program. All of those scenarios could lead to dismiss the clients from employment program. Next slide, please.
Rikad, before we move on, do you have an example or maybe a story about a client who failed to participate or cooperate with the program? Maybe they didn't realize something or kind of made a mistake. I think that's helpful for folks.
Yes, we do have many examples of that. For example, that they have to leave the country for urgent family reason, and they didn't provide any information. They didn't keep the employment specialist update. Then the employment specialists keep contacting clients through the phone is not working. They don't answer their messages. They don't respond to their email. After 1 month of no connection, that will lead to terminate the program from the program. So if a client for some reason leave the country without updating the employment specialist, yes, that could leave. that could dismiss them from the program, or they change their phone and they don't respond to their, they didn't check their emails, also losing connection that could lead also to dismissal from the program. And we have a lot of scenarios, or refusing more than 20 jobs for no reason. So also that could lead to dismiss from employment program.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Now, yes, so job readiness training class, it's, as I mentioned, it's gonna take 2 weeks, but with some clients, since they are a newly arrival, we understand they do have a lot of other appointments with the Department of Human Assistance, or applying for Social Security or medical appointments. They can stay in this stage up to 1 month to cover the missing classes, but usually it takes just 2 weeks. These classes, it's gonna be full of answering question, and is gonna be a lot of discussion between teachers and clients, and they will be understand some of the technical vocabulary and that related to employment. Next slide, please.
Regad, I see in the Q&A, someone asked, will the
Yes.
job opportunities be matched based on distance from residence, among other factors?
So can you just like repeat the question? I didn't get the first part, please.
When they're working with someone, will the job opportunities or
Yes.
the jobs they're helping them apply to,
The jobs.
is it going to be considered based on, like, you know, where they live, how
Okay,
close
yeah.
that job is?
That is a great question. Thank you for whoever asked this question. So I know that transportation is the most barriers that our client faced. So usually for those clients, we ask the clients where they live at the beginning, and then if they have transportation or someone can take them to work, so we will start to apply for job based on that. Or if we have already clients placed with that employer, they are willing to carpool other clients, that will be an option. But of course, we keep clients informed about the employer and where those are employer located, and how far is there from home, and what other options to get to the job besides maybe can use public transportation, as I mentioned, carpooling, or Lyft, Uber at the beginning till they introduce themselves to other co-workers and be able to secure that kind of transportation.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Did I answer the question for the who asked?
I
Okay.
think so.
Perfect. Thank you very much. So next slide, please. So I will go over the topics that we will cover during this 2 weeks of the stage of JRT, job readiness training classes. We will go orientation and program review, general review about the employment program. And the second day, we will provide the job search skills and resources, how to create Indeed account. And then third day for job application, job assessment. I know we have some jobs, they have more than 130 questions if the client is applying, for example, for a customer service, cashier, they have like those kind of assessment. So we will assist the client to be able to pass those job assessment. And then fourth day is the works right and US work for your workplace culture. I know we came from different countries. For Ukraine, maybe the employment system is different than US. So we will educate clients about the US workplace and culture in United States. Then the day 5, we will provide financial literacy such as pay stub, budgeting, and PTO. PTO is the time that they are taking for vacation or sick leaves. Then the second week we'll start providing with the credit, US credit system, how to build scores and credit, and then interviewing basis and mock and confident building, how to answer some basic interview question related to education or work history, skills, experience. Day 8 is the employment stress coping skills. Day 9 about the daily budget, expenses, and employer benefit. I know some clients, especially with the big size family, they prefer to stay with the benefit from that they are receiving from Department of Human Assistance. We do such as this kind of budget to compare the benefit they are receiving from DHA with the benefit they're receiving from employer, to give a clear picture for clients when what is the really benefit from getting a job. And last day for resume and creating resume or update resume with cover letter. Next slide, please. After you finish those classes, you will be assigned to employment specialist based on the English, your English level or your language. So if you don't speak English well, so we try our best to assign you the employment specialist that they speak your own language, or there are always interpreter involved for those meeting. So this meeting will be in person a lot at the beginning, and then remotely, since some of the offices are working remotely. And language, of course, we will provide interpreter if the employment specialist doesn't speak client's language, and it's gonna be personalized to your unique situation. If you have a high skills or high experience with high education, so we will set you a goal that match with your work history, or if you didn't work at all, so also we will set a goals that match with your work history. Next slide, please. And during this initial meeting between employment specialists and the clients, you will sign the document. It means the intake that we already completed, and that intake it's also include the agreement between the provider or the agency and the client, and the confidential, to keep all those information confidential. Also to update the resume and establish the job search plan, how many days you are meeting with the employment specialist, and how you complete those forms of the job search. And you will set a goals for long-term, short-term, for 6 months, or long-term till 9 months, up to 1 year.
Ragad,
yes.
Can you share maybe how long these meetings happen, how often,
Okay.
how, when people can expect how much time they can expect to spend with their employment specialist?
Perfect. It depends in each county, but for the first or for the initial meeting, it will start immediately after they finish JRT class. And how often, it depends on the clients. Some clients are independent, so they can complete their job search. We just send them links to apply for jobs, so they are okay with that. So we meet with them once a week. Some clients, they need a lot of support. We ask them to be connect with us 2 to 3 times. When they are expecting to accept job, also depends on how urgent that clients need a job, because we always have a partnership with the employer and there are a lot of jobs available. But it based on the client. If they need an urgent job, they have to be prepared to pass the interview. So of course, it's going to be a lot of work from employment specialists and the client themselves to work together to be able to pass the interview and to understand that, and the employment specialist also to prepare that client and for securing also the transportation to get a job. We have clients, they even start working during JRT class. It means after 2 weeks. On the other hand, we have clients, they keep refusing jobs and they stay in the program up to 9 months. So basically, it depends on the client themselves.
Thank you.
Absolutely. And yeah, so thank you very much for the next slide. So job search. Yeah, so in this program, we create a resume if you don't have a resume in this stage. And if you have one, I know the system or the resume in our own country, I'm from Iraq, so we have a long resume. It's called CV. It has picture. In US, it's different. So we try to combine all the work history, the skills, experience that you have. If you have like CV with 9 pages, we have a lot of clients that they have really heavy skills and experience, work history. So we combine all of those pages, and we try our best to combine it in one page to create a good resume for that client. Also, we'll start applying for job. I don't want to say apply, but we assist the client to apply for those jobs. We are expecting to complete 10 job application every 2 weeks. And then when the client had the luck to accept a job, we assist them to complete a higher paperwork and to provide them any assistance with that. Then next slide, please. Thank you. During job search, this is the longest, it could be the longest stage that the client stay in the program. As I mentioned, it may take 1 month up to 7-8 months. So client during this time, they may ask for some kind of financial assistance. For example, technology assistant. We will be able, if the client is qualified, to provide them laptop to be able to apply online, or transportation. For example, we can provide them bus passes, monthly bus passes, or they are interested to get their driving license. We also can provide up to 500 if they are qualified. We have funds for that, for school driving or driving school, I mean, and also to get their driving license. Also, if the client, because they don't have income yet, they need some assistance to pay their rent, we also can provide them to like a amount, maybe up to 3 months, to assist them for rental and for their utilities as well. If the client accepts a job and that job is required unique clothing, so also, or they have interview, we also can provide them clothing, safety boot if they're working in warehouse, or if, for example, we have clients, they work in a company that they required some kind of tools. We also able to provide those tools when we had that requirement in their job offer.
Hi, Ricardo. We have a couple questions for Q&A.
Yes.
There's at least 2 we could probably answer quickly, and then I'll wait for the third one. But someone asked, what, job referrals do you mention? I know you mentioned this, but will you take into account a person's wishes and background, or will you give them a referral to a job that's not related to the experience on their resume?
So, okay, thank you very much for asking this question. I just want to let you know, so your first job is not your dream job. It's not the end of the world. Your job is the first step that you will take. It will take you to your dream job. So if you have a good skills, experience, work history, and you speak English well, you will not start from the first step. Maybe you will start from step 10. to get your dream job. For referral, of course, we will refer you based on your work, but we cannot guarantee that if you work as a lawyer, for example, you will be able to work the same job here in USA, because as I mentioned, system is different and education is different here. Also, employer, they want to see some skills and experience that you are working in United States. So, but of course, if you have those skills and experience, we will try our best, but we cannot promise that you will get the high level job that you work back in your country. We will try our best to match with your skills, with your work history, and refer you to those employer, but we cannot guarantee that job.
Thank you. And then the second question is, are green card holders eligible for help with finding jobs? And would they need to go through 2 weeks of courses?
The JRT classes?
Yes.
So that is a great question. First of all, green card holder, they are qualified for the program. As I know from Sacramento County, yes, they are. And I'm sure for other provider as well. So, but you mentioned that how urgent, if you need an urgent job, please let the provider during intake appointment that you need to find a job immediately. So then you will start do the job search activity beside job readiness training classes, both of them at the same time.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yes, next slide. Thank you. And now, yay! This is the excited stage placement when you accept the job and you start working. So the program will help you. I will go through the hiring paper and the employment benefit also to assist you if you don't have a car to, again, as I mentioned, secure a transportation either by carpooling or provide you bus passes to use public transportation. And if you have, for example, children, they will connect you to the resources to help you with the child care or until you be able to start work. On the other hand, you as your responsibility is to provide us the proof that you start working, either pay stub, job offer, or forward the email that you are receiving from employer to your directly to your employment specialist. This is as a proof that you start work. And with those, you will provide the employer information, their name, address, who is your supervisor, their phone number, all of that, and how many hours are you working full-time, part-time, and hourly wage. So again, you will, after you start working, you will be in the program up to 90 days. After 90 days, this is the great opportunity for those who are looking for higher level job. You will qualify for higher program, which is called Career Pathway Program. This program will provide you or will assist you to apply for classes to get a short or long-term certificate. For example, for medical assistant or for administration or for truck driving or commercial driving license, such as those kind of certification, you will able to get when you complete 90 days in that entry-level job or the first job.
Can I also add something, Ragad?
Yes.
I also wanted to make sure that folks know, to make sure that sometimes people might know a relative, an uncle, a brother, and they get hired to work for them as their first job here in the United States. And that person might be paying them, quote unquote, under the table or not
Yes.
officially. So it's really, really important that if you are in that situation, please make sure that your friend or relative is providing a pay stub. They are providing proof of employment and that they're not just paying you in cash without an official record.
Yes, thank you very much for bringing this, Jelly. Yes, we have a lot of those situations that the clients, they are not aware, or maybe they're scared from losing their benefit from the county, so they prefer to work as a cash, but that considered as a fraud and it's not okay. So if you are receiving benefit from the county and you are not informing county, you are start working. So please do not do that, and reach out to your direct employment specialist and provide them the right information and accurate information. So pay stub is your right, and in the end of the year, you will get tax, you will be eligible for loans if you want to purchase home in the future. So there are a lot of benefit from getting a job that we cannot say it in 1 hour. So yes, and the employment specialist will keep in touch you every 2 weeks if there's no urgent. But please make sure to keep your direct employment special during this 90 days. If there is something, if you got promoted, or if you the contract with you with that company ended, so to find another job. Otherwise, when you complete 90 days of your first start day, your file will be closed successfully, and you will be qualified for a higher program. Thank you very much. Just let me know if you have any questions. I'll stay till the end of presentation.
Thank you, Ragad. We've got a few more questions, but I think we can address them at the end.
Sure.
Here. All right. So just a employment services summary, as Ragad shared, most employment programs, not just IRC, but across the state, will have an intake and enrollment portion of it. You know, it's really important, and it's okay to share some of that personal information. They will need like your A number and all types of things to help you get a job. Then there'll be a couple weeks of courses that will help. Just prepare you for what to expect, and then working one-on-one to help you apply for those jobs, do the job applications and interviews, and then hopefully they'll have that job placement at the end. And of course, making sure that you keep that job will be kind of the last phase of employment services. Okay, so really quickly, we're going to go over just how to locate services near you. I know that's a question that folks have put in the chat. So we've created supportguide.org, which has a map feature. So you can research what services you need, whether it's housing or employment, using this map feature, and have it be specific to your area in the state. There is also a very helpful website through California Department of Social Services that lists all types of jobs and training providers based on the county that you live in. We will also share these resources and links at the end of the presentation so that you can access them easily. Also, current available resources for Ukrainians include Support Guide. I know IRC, if they're in your area, they can also help provide services, but using Support Guide to just kind of navigate and find those specific services in your area will be a very, very helpful tool. And we also have these sessions on Mondays that help you all navigate different benefits and different resources within California. So we're going to talk really quickly about tips and common questions. So This might answer a couple questions in the Q&A, but we'll also make sure to circle back and go to them before the end of the presentation. So as Ragad was saying, your first job here will not be your last job. We also want to acknowledge that it can feel very demoralizing. There can be grief, there can be sadness, because it is usually a job that you are overqualified for or would be overqualified for in your home country. We want to acknowledge that that is hard and it's a very emotional process. However, it is necessary because you need to have at least 1 to 2 year work history in the US. And you want to be able to get positive, strong references from those supervisors so that you can hopefully get to your dream job or those higher level positions that you are qualified for. So just want to reiterate that this is usually one of the hardest transition points for clients when they come to the US, but building this foundation is very important to helping you get to your future job that you are qualified for and hope to do. We want to remind you, as Ragad also said, to be in constant communication with your employment specialist. That's going to help you succeed the most in job applications and making sure that you are not disqualified from programs. Also appreciate Ragad emphasizing that resumes should be 1 page or less. There shouldn't be any kind of headshots, no certifications attached. You want it to be very simple but straightforward. If it's any longer, it might, influence your ability to get hired or considered for an interview. We'll also share this link in the chat, but there is, usually the agency you work with has a template that you can fill in your information with, or we'll also share a Harvard online version in case you would like to start working on that on your own. So for interviewing, that's also really important. Interviewing can be a very, very stress-inducing process. We often don't know exactly what you're going to be asked, but there's usually a good idea that your employment specialist will know and they'll work with you ahead of time. But if you have no English proficiency, English is not your, first language and you're still learning it, it's very important that you memorize safety and survival words that will help you on the job. For those who are limited English speakers, memorizing responses to common questions, practicing and listening to recordings on notes can be very helpful. And then for advanced English speakers, they can practice with the STAR method. Do you have any knowledge on the STAR method, Ragad, that you could share? Oh, sorry, I think you might be on mute.
Not from what I'm understanding, so actually.
No worries.
Okay.
So, practicing the STAR method is you definitely want to make sure that you understand kind of what they're looking for in the position, expectations, setting goals, and just, really making sure that you understand what they're asking for and how you can respond in those questions. Okay, so common questions. How do I get a job if I don't speak English? Ragad, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, absolutely. So that is the time that you need to prepare for the question that employer will ask you. So we have some common question with the basic or entry-level jobs that employer already shared with us. So we will ask those set of questions, maybe 6 to 10 questions that we will ask the clients, and then employment specialists will prepare the clients to answer those questions in English. I can give you an example. We have one employer that the job is just connecting wires to each other. So the interview question is just measurement, numbers, colors, and shapes. So we already create a PowerPoint to help clients to memorize those colors and shapes and how to say it in English. So those this is the answer for the question. Don't speak English, that's totally fine. We will prepare you for the interview, and we will have those question and answers ahead of time, and to help you more than one time to practice till you get those until you are confident to be prepared for the interview.
And then what if I don't have a car or transportation? I know Ragad earlier mentioned that they will take in consideration your location where you live, helping you apply to jobs that are, easier to get to. But if your employment program has a lot of clients at a job or a good relationship, it's possible to coordinate carpooling. So that's when, if someone else has a job or someone else has a car at the job, they can help with providing transportation. And then they also work closely with you to learn the public transportation system if carpooling is not an option.
Yes.
And I know this is very commonly asked, but who will watch my kids if and while I work? Do you want to answer that, Ragad?
Yes, absolutely. So that is a great question, especially for family. They have kids under 12 years old. So if the clients, they are under call works benefit, so Department of Human Assistance kindly provide a program to help with the childcare. You just need to contact your caseworker at the DHA, and they will connect you to the child care option and child action, to provide you this service. Or if you are non-cash or you are looking for this opportunity, we can connect you to the resources. We have some some connection, also some partnership with the childcare that they speak language that a client speak, and they can also provide this kind of services to our client. I know it is really expensive, but we have some resources that are cheaper, and or you can apply for a job based on your availability. We have a lot of husband and two clients at the same time enrolled in the program. They divide the responsibility for kids between both of them. And for example, the husband prefer to work at night and wife work at daytime while kids at the school. So we have such as those understanding that that clients need to provide those information ahead of time before start applying for a job to their employment specialist.
I'd also like to add, depending on your community, your local community, there's also, times where families might help each other out in providing daycare if their work schedules are different. So that also can be a possibility as well, if you have that community resource. So what should I say during interviews here to help me get a job? Raga, can you answer that briefly?
Yes, I like this question. So a lot of times, for example, when a client, they are really interested in that job, again, we have to prepare for the job. And the most important thing is you to feel confident, smile, and just be prepared. Do practice several times, and don't panic. Even if you didn't get a job, that's okay. That's also a lesson for you to get experience for me, like a lot of clients with high level of education, they didn't get a job from the first time. That's okay. At least you get experience from getting in those interviews. So for you, it just, the key is the practice and to read the job description carefully if you are applying for a high-level job. So just study that job description. If you have any question, reach out to employment specialist, just tell them, hey, I didn't understand this part of job description. Make your own research for that company to see what's their goals, if that align with your goals. So all of those are keys to get a job. That specific job, I mean.
Okay. How should I communicate if and when I need to take a sick day?
Yes.
First thing is, hopefully you'll establish a, working relationship with your supervisor. You should be able to have their phone number, email. So if you do need to take a sick day or an emergency comes up, it's very important that you let them know. Don't just not show up to your job and not communicate. It's very important that you call someone, email them, whatever their process is. Just please make sure that you do that because that's what employers like to see. If you don't show up for the job for emergency or sickness and they don't know, that could lead to you being fired from that job. What should I do if I feel I'm being treated unfairly at work by my boss or a different colleague? In the United States, everyone has a right to not be discriminated in their workplace. And usually employers will have a system where if you can make a complaint, and that's something that we highly recommend doing so that, it doesn't happen in the future. But also, I think this could be something that your employment specialist, if you're still in the 90-day period and you're facing unfair treatment at work, they can help you advocate for yourself and file a complaint. Do I need a bank account to get a paycheck? What is ACH? Can you answer this, Ragat?
Yes, for the bank account, of course, some employer, they prefer to send that directly to your bank, send your check directly to deposit your check to your bank account. That's why we prefer to build or to create bank account. If you need assistance, just let your employment specialist to take you and to the bank and to have a bank account. ACG is automatic clearing house. It's when you deposit your monthly check to your directly to your bank account. But there are some employer, they just provide you a check directly to you as a pay stub, yeah, as a hard copy, yeah.
And then can I still get a job if my EAD hasn't come through yet?
Yes.
Do you want to answer that, Ragat?
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, so employment authorization card, it is crucial to apply for any job. Yet, if you are a green card holder, that's be okay if you don't have it or if it's expired, but we prefer to renew it. And it depends on the employer. For example, we built a partnership with the restaurant, and that restaurant was understanding because I know a lot of time, especially recently when we have a high number of comers or arrivals, the employment authorization card took up to 3-4 months to get. So some of the employer, they're okay with just I-94 and social security card, and then we just tell them that the application to get that document in the process, and of course you need to keep them posted whenever you receive the card, just to inform your employer whenever you receive it. Again, it's based on the employer.
Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna probably not really spend much time on HAU housing assistance for Ukrainians, because we do have a previous recording on this and we will share resources for it. I want to make sure that there's time at the end so that we can answer questions, because we're coming up at the end of our presentation hour. But essentially, this is a housing program that's eligible for Ukrainians. And it's just to make sure that Ukrainians are able to have that while they're also gaining employment and able to become self-sufficient. So we will share these resources kind of in the chat box, but there are HAU resources listed on support guide. There is a link that also has a lot of different housing assistant agencies and things that Ukrainians are able to access. And then Nova Ukraine, our partner agency, has an email address that you can email hau@novaukraine.org to assist with applications. So just so everyone knows, this slide deck, both in English, Ukrainian, and Russian, will be uploaded to our support guide website, as well as reference links and a recording of today's session. So if you need to refer back, you can go to our website and watch this again. You can also listen to it in your preferred language. We also are going to share a survey that you can provide feedback. You can ask additional questions and we will get those answers and email you back and suggest future topics. So I want to briefly open up for the Q&A. I know we've only got a couple minutes. Ragad, there are 2 questions that were asked, so I'm going to read those to you and see if you can answer. One is, do you have any ideas on how to encourage people to work officially, how to support them? As you know, clients are very discouraged. As soon as a client gets a job, there's often an occurrence that the county can take away their benefits. Sometimes if it exceeds IRT, it's almost impossible to get those benefits back. They're so heavily reliant on CalWORKs even when they are employed. So what kind of advice do you have in answering that question?
Thank you very much for this question. Whoever asked this question, it is really realistic question. I can give you an example. We have one client who is receiving 1,800 monthly as cash aid and 975 as food stamp. The employment specialist keeps struggling to motivate him to accept the job and get rid of those benefit from Department of Human Assistance. And then the employment, I'm just telling you one story. So employment specialist reached me out, say, please, Ragat, help me. How can I just assist this client? How can I just motivate him to accept the job? I met with him, tell him, okay, let's pretend that you have an emergency money. You keep it in the bank. So are you using this emergency when you don't have any emergency need? You don't have, for example, God forbid, car accident or something that happened, damage to your house, or you want to pay the tuition for your kids' university. So are you using those money for no need? He said, of course not. I will keep it in my saving account till I need them for urgent matter. I said, yes, that's why we have those benefits from the county. It's just for urgent needs. It's gonna stay in your account till you need them. So since you are now healthy, you are able to work, I prefer and I motivate you to start work, since those jobs are available now. We don't know if those jobs will disappear in the future. You know, things happen. When we had COVID, a lot of people, they lose their job. We have more than 70% of our clients, they lost their job during COVID-19. So since those resources, this program is available for you, it is great to start work. again, I cannot just provide, I emphasize how important is the job. At least you will get a respect from your kids when they see their parents are working. Nowadays, kids are so smart, and when they see their, I'm sorry to say that, their parents are not getting a job, they don't speak English well, there will be a gap between clients and their kids. Another benefit, you will get a lot of friends, you will prove your English, you will may also to, when you are accepting a first job, you will may be able to introduce to other people, and you make them your own connection and to get a higher level job, or you will be promoted. I have a client, I remember, she started as house cleaning, like she was a worker at a motel, just cleaning rooms. And right now, after 2 years, she is a supervisor. And we have one client also, she started as a worker in a warehouse, right now is a lead shift. So there are a lot of opportunity when you start a job. So those all are motivation stories or success story. You can just have them as a model for you to accept a job. But let me tell you, if you are stay in the benefit with that you are receiving from county, you will not be able even to buy your dream car, not your dream house. So this is my advice to you. So yeah, so let me give you a simple example. For any job, minimum job, at least full-time job, you are receiving 100 a day. So that means where you are not working, you are losing this $100 from your own. You are losing this opportunity to get $100 in your pocket.
Thank you, Ragad. And then really quick last question. I know we're at the end of our session, but someone also asked if a client gets a well-paying job or the client makes sure their reported job is under IRT, which often leads to covering your earnings. Many UHPs that know English are not willing to accept jobs like dishwashing, housekeeping. And UHPs that don't know English are typically older people, and they struggle with getting hired since they cannot stand 8 hours a day. Can you kind of speak for, I hope I'm understanding this question right, but just, skill set tasks, like if someone's not able to stand, is that something that the program works with?
So the question is for clients. So from what I get, it's if the client, they have kind of medical issue, but they have high skills experience, or they speak English well, or they don't speak English at all. So what's the question is for which client? Beside their disabled or beside their medical issue, medical setting.
This actually might have just been like a additional comment, because it says, so either the client gets a well-paying job, which is often not an early employment manager skill set task, or the client makes sure their reported job is under IRT. I'm sorry, I don't know if I quite understand this question that's being asked.
So yes, so from what I understand from this question, if the benefit from employer it's going to be less than benefit that they are receiving from the county, is that maybe what they are mean to? And if, for example, they have some medical issue, they cannot stand, they cannot lift, so if you are not willing to work and the county asks you to do some activities, because it's not from our agency, it's not from Solvera, it's under US law. All the clients, they are receiving benefit from the county. They are required by US law to participate in the employment program. If you have some medical issue, like you have a surgery in your back, you have some medical issue that you cannot stand for long hours or lift heavy thing, you can inform Department of a Human Assistant caseworker by getting a report from your medical or your provider, like a family doctor, that you are not able to work. At that time, you will be excused from working. But if you are looking for a job that is not required for a stand, let me tell you, even the doctors are standing for 8 hours for all their shifts, even angels, even cashier. But we have some windows for those clients that have medical setting. We can, for example, apply for a part-time job if that fit for their schedule with their what they are aiming to. Or, for example, we have some jobs that are working remotely, but that is required some English because they are working as a customer services.
Thank you so much, Ragad. I appreciate your time. Thank you. We're
Absolutely.
coming to the end of our presentation hour, but thank you so much
Absolutely.
for answering all these questions, being here today. We really, really appreciate it. Everyone else, I'm going to go ahead and put important links in the chat, which also includes our feedback survey. So please take the time to go through those. By sometime tomorrow, we will have everything uploaded to supportguide.com, and you can access today's slides and recording as well.
Thank you very much all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ragad, and thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today.